Hello, my name is Dan Ribacoff, TV polygraph operator for the Steve Wilkos show. I want to tell you about how I use my fraudulent polygraph examinations to exploit and humiliate unsuspecting guests for money and entertainment. I also used a single young mother of four named Anchor Pennington who came on our show to find out if the marks she found on her infant daughter were from abuse. When Ms. Pennington called the show, TV host Steve Wilkos and I found a window of opportunity to twist her polygraph results to our advantage. So we did.
Mr. Ribacoff, from what the article at antipolygraph.com indicates, Anchor Pennington wanted to find out about what was causing the mysterious lesions on her daughter's skin, so she appeared on the Steve Wilkos show back in December of 2019. You and Mr. Wilkos promised to help her to find out if the marks were being caused by abuse. So you and Steve approached Anchor as good-hearted, highly moralistic and heroic gentlemen at first, Mr. Ribacoff.
Allow me to explain our con artist trick. We deceive guests by publicly making the claim that polygraphs are at least 90% reliable, and then we wait until guests show up at the studio to hurry them through reading and signing the contract before we bring them on stage. We don't give guests enough time to understand that we are not professionals and the show is not real, so they will not know that the stories are being used for entertainment purposes only and that polygraphs are not completely credible.
So what you were saying, Dan, is that you lied to Anchor to trick her into believing that you two are professionals who are experts at what you do.
Yes. I knowingly lied to Anchor so I could blindside her at the last minute and humiliate her for sensationalism. We only pretended to care about her and her situation so that we could benefit. We wrongfully accused her of burning her daughter with cigarettes, even though it was later proven that the marks were actually from ringworm.
You know, my opinion of you is changing from that of a self-sacrificing humanitarian to a douchebag, Dan Ribacoff.
Well, I am not trustworthy. And that's why many of our victims are pissed off at us, and that's why even our former fans are now spreading the real truth about how we use and exploit our guests to our own greedy ends. Here's the trick. The polygraph is just a toy that we use as a prop to make us look believable. I start off by asking the subject a series of questions that trick them into telling an untruth so that I can deceive them into thinking I am the real deal. Then I use a series of gadgets and trinkets that supposedly measure reactions and bodily responses such as fear and nervousness, but don't really confirm whether the examiner is being deceptive or not.
It sounds like you present polygraphs as reliable, even though stupid-ass Steve himself stupidly stated on an interview with the Breakfast Club radio show that he lied on a polygraph and yet beat it, and that he would never take another polygraph ever again. Did you tell other people the same shit also?
Yes. Well, people are stupid and believe a lot of crap they are fed. That's why we only pay our guests peanuts for allowing us to humiliate them on national television for no good reason, leaving them with their spirits broken and then sending them off with no counseling or anything else they need. We pay them approximately a total of $250 in gift cards apiece after we dress them up in shitty clothing that have been used by other guests from before, and often don't even allow them time to rest from their long plane trip when they arrive. After we drove Anchor to near suicide with our vicious and immature bullying, we sent her extra money, another measly $250, to try to con her into forgiving us and shut up about this without us actually giving her a public verbal apology or directly admitting to our wrongdoing. If word gets out that we used Anchor and other innocent women who appear on our show to hide the fact that Steve is getting it on with another woman he cheats on his wife with and also abuses, our business will be screwed and we will be up shit creek.
So how long have you been deceiving your guest, Mr. Ribacoff?
For more than 2 years since Steve's drunk driving fiasco. Steve has been fucking one of his groupies, and now that she no longer wants anything to do with him, Steve is pissed off and taking his anger out on other women who appear on his show, women who he thinks are easy targets for this type of crap, and I act as an accomplice to Steve so I can keep my job. But now that we realized that fucking with Anchor was a fatal mistake, we released a video snippet of the episode in which she was filmed and then had our attorney call Anchor to bully her at her work and try to connive her into signing a contract to allow us to air her episode while including the caption that the marks on her child were not cigarette burns but ringworms. But unfortunately for us, Anchor was too smart for us and refused to accept our cowardly bargain. So in a world-class chicken shit move, we removed the snippet and did not air Anchor's episode. However, Anchor was smart enough to download a copy of the incriminating snippet, and each time Anchor tries to upload the copy on her videos, we submit a copyright claim to YouTube to have the snippet removed like the two old cowards we are. We don't ever report YouTube content that contains significantly much more of our content because the videos that contain said content are uploaded by people who idolize us and kiss our asses.
Dan, do you realize that you and Steve are not qualified to make professional opinions and that you could both be rightfully accused of terrorism and fraud?
Yes. This is why we never include a public disclaimer on our show stating that polygraph examinations are not credible and that we are not certified experts with valid credentials. People are just stupid and believe anything.
So you sell yourself as the founder and president of Investigative International Group?
Yes, this is correct, and by the way, you forgot to mention I am 60 years old and my wife Barbara also works with me, and Steve's wife Rochelle is the show's executive producer and Steve's boss. Both of our wives know about what we did to Anchor and about the abuse we give our other innocent guests, but neither of our wives have called us out on our crap or done anything to stop us, and they have not publicly apologized to Anchor or the other guests we have abused, and neither have Steve or myself either. We are setting terrible examples for our children, but being cowards, of course we don't care. As long as we have all our money, glamour and fame, that's all that matters.
How do you get away with driving innocent people to suicide or near suicide, Dan?
We choose our guests carefully. We target our most vulnerable, disadvantaged and oppressed guests to take advantage of. I gaslight people, and then when I am cornered I make excuses and play mind games as if people are stupid. I even continue to blatantly lie, just like I did with Anchor a second time by publicly maligning her on my Facebook page. I slandered Anchor again by stating that her polygraph results were correct and that she did burn her daughter with cigarettes and that the ringworm was a secondary infection from the cigarette burns. And then when Anchor confronted me on my Facebook page, I panicked and then deleted my comments and all other related posts and then blocked Anchor so she wouldn't be able to view my page ever again. Luckily Anchor saved screenshots of all of my evil lies, and then Anti-Polygraph published copies of those screenshots in a second article along with a second report about how I continue to try to spread lies about Anchor. And then, just like Anti-Polygraph did with the first report, Anti-Polygraph emailed me to confront me about my false statements, and once again I ignore those emails like the chicken shit I am.
Yes. You always circumvent my own emails and my colleagues' emails too. When we posted our own questions on your Facebook page asking you about whether you know falsely accusing someone of serious child abuse is a crime, you deleted our posts too. And we have screenshots of those deleted posts on our videos as well.
You are hurting my reputation. I keep a clean image. You are fucking all this up.
But how can an excuse like that fly? What intelligent person would believe that ringworm would develop from cigarette burns?
Well, Anchor really did burn her child. The polygraph proved she was lying 3 times in a row.
Stop the bullshit, Dan Ribacoff. That doesn't even make any sense. Anchor's daughter was proven to have ringworm. Anchor has photos and hospital records to prove it. People are starting to see you as a con man, Ribacoff.
Polygraphs are at least 90% reliable, and we have had many child abusers convicted, and we have helped many people. I am the best polygraph examiner in the country, and you can ask my mother. She confirmed this by telling me on my Facebook page that she was proud of me and then encouraged me to keep climbing up the ladder of success before you had to butt in and post a question to my mother asking her if she was proud that I drove Anchor to near suicide with my lies, and then I deleted your posts on there too. So I don't have to explain myself to you.
Dan, Dr. Phil McGraw released a statement on his site saying that research indicates that there is no such thing as a false positive or a false negative result on polygraphs. This statement seems to belly the reliability of lie detectors. You leak deception, Mr. Ribacoff, and I can tell whether a person is being deceptive as soon as they walk into a room. I can tell even before I begin an examination whether or not a person is telling the truth, and you can rightfully be counted as deceptive, Dan. And yet you lyingly stated that your guest Anchor Pennington had 3 false positives on her test even though she was later proven innocent. You and Steve do all these things with no worry of being prosecuted by the law, and your own wives don't seem to care either. But you like to be looked upon as good people with high ethics and morals. This is bullshit and you know it. This is why the show has a 2.5-star rating and hundreds of bad reviews. You make out your intellect is in the realm of accurate psychoanalysis. This is not true and you know this too.
This is why we run every time we are confronted. Just like that time you proved to Steve's wife that Steve is cheating on her by telling her that the side girlfriend he has been trying to hide from the world since his DUI knows that the reason his eyes have been so red and puffy in a lot of his videos are because he has been crying over his girlfriend's attempts to leave him, and you included photos of Steve with recent photos of his bloodshot eyes in your videos. So Steve's wife can't deny that Steve has been cheating if his girlfriend knows he has been crying like the little bitch he is, and surely Steve has been openly crying in front of his wife and kids and maybe even his co-workers like the little pussy he is too. So that's why Steve got butthurt and made a copyright claim to have your incriminating video removed, just like he did with that video proving he is a bad father for setting all these poor examples for his own children. So this is the second time Steve stupidly showed the world his butthurt.
But Dan, you and Steve are going to have to come clean with your children and your audience sooner or later. You can't get mad at us for telling the real truth about you, and you can't hide your true selves forever. How do you people live with consciences like yours?
Simple. When you confronted me on continuing to bully and defame Anchor Pennington, I panicked and changed my Facebook name from Dan Ribacoff to Dan David, as if that will make it harder for all of you saps to identify me. I think I was smoking crack when I tried to pull that off. Now we are soon heading into season 14 and we still have all the respect and adoration of all our fans, and as long as we continue to pretend that Anchor didn't almost die from our childish behavior, this will continue to make us look good.
You should still give Anchor and her children a direct public apology. Anchor is the mother of 4 small children, and your malicious and selfish efforts to hide Steve's extramarital affair by trying to make Anchor look bad so you and Steve can continue to look good almost killed this beautiful sweet woman. Once again, Dan, you are just an asshole and you know it.
Yes, and being an asshole keeps me rich and famous. I use and exploit people to support my luxurious lifestyle and don't like to admit to my mistakes like any other narcissist, which is why when anyone confronts on my Facebook or any of my other social media, I block them and then deleted all of the confrontational questions and all other related posts.
Dan, you have no credibility to begin with. You make false promises as part of your con artist career.
Yes. It just makes me look good when I claim to have credentials in the accuracy of polygraph examinations and have worked with important people in taking criminals down, whether these alleged criminals are innocent or not. It's why Steve still appears in interviews and news articles and talk shows bragging about how great his marriage and family life supposedly is, and why Steve and I refuse to publicly acknowledge the catastrophe we inflicted on Anchor and other innocent guests. It just makes us look good if we and our wives continue to sweep our actions under the rug and pretend none of these crimes ever happened.
I suppose this is why your lie detector continues to convict the innocent and exonerate the guilty, and you think nothing of it.
Yes. I never intended to give Anchor Pennington honest lie detector test results. It was Steve's and my idea to take advantage of her to help distract our audience from Steve's secret love affair on the side all along. That's why we avoid answering the media's emails and any and all confrontational emails no matter what.
So you are more of a fraudster than a polygraph expert. Do you really believe people should deal with 2 corrupt and dishonest men who bamboozle people into believing they want to help them, only to end up mistreating them and humiliating them for entertainment, and then leave even more into debt with medical bills and other outstanding expenses? This is why you don't include therapists on your show. You don't care about the well-being of your guests at all. I feel you and Steve are not men who lead with example, and you are poor models for your children too. You twist people's stories to suit your needs and treat your guests like circus animals, and treat even your studio audience poorly too. You put your guests on display to bark orders at them and bully them into giving them the emotion and acting you want for TV.
They all must be lying, because we treat all our guests like royalty and pay for their hotels and transportation, and if those guests feel mistreated, they have nothing to complain about because they know what to expect when they arrive, and they read and signed the contract, and we never forced them to come on our show. Just because we don't give them sufficient time to read the contract and understand that we are not professionals and that they are being used for entertainment, it doesn't mean we are wrong, because it was the choice to call us in the first place. If they get exploited and abused by us, that's their own fault, because they themselves are probably criminals who deserve it. We wait until our guests arrive at the studio to manipulate the stories on our terms to our satisfaction without really giving them time to recoup from their long journey first, and if any of these guests are women who have already been abused enough, that's even better. These people have nothing to be mad about because we pay them $250 and they get to be on TV. This is why we sometimes include children who did remarkable things on our set, because this makes us all look like heroes.
You are a scam artist, Dan Ribacoff.
Rich too.